Hello and welcome back to the Cooking with Ruf cooking show on YouTube, where today we're going to show you how to take your favorite pasta sauce, whatever that is, and we're going to show you how to add some things to it, and we're going to throw it in the oven and bake it for about a half hour, and we're going to show you how to go from this blah plain jar of pasta sauce to that fire baked spaghetti. And we're going to show you how to get it all done right here today on Cooking with Ruf. All right, most folks that get their favorite jar of pasta sauce from the store, whatever yours is, I happen to like Bertolli. It's pretty straightforward, right? You add, you brown some ground beef, maybe a little onion with it, you add your sauce, make your pasta, and you and your family are eating spaghetti. But there's some things that I add additional to this pasta sauce to make that Cooking with Ruf fire baked spaghetti. And so for that, I start with Italian sausage, and I use the link sausage. I actually learned this technique from my brother, so shout out to you, Douglas. I use the link sausage. I cut it out of the casing, and then I cut it into bite-sized pieces. That's about 3 links with the casing removed and cut into bite-sized pieces. I come behind that and I add a little more than a ½ pound of ground beef, and I use all of this with 1 jar of sauce. To that, I add 4 cloves of chopped garlic. We're going to add about a half a chopped onion, and then about a small to medium green bell pepper chopped as well. And we'll show you how to put all of those things together and make that fire sauce that's going to lead to that Cooking with Ruf fire baked spaghetti. All right, folks, it is now time to make that about face to the Cooking with Ruf stovetop, where we are going to get started on this pasta sauce. All right, so we come in here, we've got a medium saucepan. I put a little bit of olive oil in there. And the reason that I do that is to prevent, even though the sausage has fat in it, if you don't put that olive oil in the pan, it will stick. So I put a little bit of olive oil in there. Again, we got this on a medium-high heat. I think that's set at a 7. And we'll add our sausage in first. I usually come in and kind of put the sausage on 1/2 of the pan, and then I'll use the other half, if you will, of the space that's remaining for the ground beef. So we'll get that added in there. We'll come back and we will break the ground beef up, and we'll add that too. Just kind of break it up with your hands as you drop it in there. And eventually it'll break up even further as it starts to cook. So we'll let that kind of sizzle, start to get some browning going on. Put this dish over here. Then I'm gonna wash my hands quickly, and I'll come back and I'll season it with some salt, pepper, and seasoning salt. All right, so while this is browning, I come in and I'm gonna add just a little salt to it. Give it a little salt action. Again, you don't need to add a whole lot here because, again, that Italian seasoning, Italian sausage, already has seasoning in it. We're going to add some pepper, fresh ground black pepper as well. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to hit it with a little bit of seasoning salt. And again, we're going to just let that brown for a little bit. And once we do a stir or two on it, we will add our fresh herb components to it and let that also cook into the meat while it is browning. So let's go ahead and give it that first stir, see kind of where we at with the browning. All right, yeah, see that? We got that sausage getting some browning on it. I'm sure the ground beef is starting to brown as well. And at this point, you can just kind of start to mix it all together. We'll let that brown for another couple of moments there, and then I'll show you how we add the fresh components to it as well. All right, so come on in here, take a look at this meat that's browning. You see now it's starting to release some juices, so it's more so less browning and a little bit more kind of boiling. And when it gets to that state, we can go ahead and add these fresh components to it. So to that, I'm going to add our 4 cloves of garlic that we chopped. And man, if you all can smell it in here, goodness gracious alive. We're going to add that green bell pepper. And we're going to come back and add our onion. All right, so then we can come back with our spoon here, stir these components in. Y'all, the smell, man, I can't with this smell. It's just, it smells so good. Add these components and then we'll let that brown maybe another 5 minutes or so, 3 to 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and we will add that pasta sauce to it. So we'll do that here momentarily on the Cooking with Ruf show. All right, folks, our meat has been browning and we are about ready to come in here. Take a look at that. Look at that, all that steam, just wonderful sensations spewing forth into the atmosphere. We are ready to add our sauce to this. Let's give this a little mix here. And we're gonna leave all of that juice in there because that's gonna just add to the flavor of that fire spaghetti sauce, all right? Then we'll come back in here with our, I'm using the tomato and basil version of this Bertolli sauce. And you'll want to pretty quickly turn your sauce down as well. So I usually go, I call it medium low. So I'm at like a 3.5 setting right now. And then I use a little bit of water and just make sure I get the rest of that sauce out of the jar. So just kind of add some water, shake that up, and pour that in there too. All right, and then we'll give this a stir. We'll add our lid to it. Oh, there's one other secret to this fire spaghetti sauce. Look at all those colors in there. Look at all those beautiful colors. One other little secret that I add to this sauce before we start boiling too heavily here, and that is, if I can get the top off, I add just a little bit of sugar. Cooking with Ruf, you ain't supposed to put no sugar in there. Just a little bit of sugar in there. We'll give that a little stir. And then we're gonna let this simmer for about a half hour. You know, while I'm sitting here stirring and I'm looking at all these beautiful colors, I'm reminded that we have not done the Cooking with Ruf word of the week, which is color proliferation. And that is the beautiful myriad of colors created when you are making that Cooking with Ruf fire spaghetti sauce. Color proliferation. Let's talk pasta for a second. The beauty of pasta is you can use whatever pasta floats your boat, but Cooking with Ruf prefers a thinner pasta. So I usually use an angel hair or a vermicelli, but it's up to you. You can use thin spaghetti, regular spaghetti, whatever kind of pasta it is that you like. This is just my personal preference. I'm gonna go ahead and whip this together so that when that sauce is done, we can put it all together and put this fire-baked Cooking with Ruf pasta into the oven. All right, folks, welcome back to the Cooking with Ruf show, where we are in the process of making this Cooking with Ruf fire-baked spaghetti. And we are going to come over here to the Cooking with Ruf stovetop, where we'll show you that this pasta sauce has simmered for about 30 minutes or so, and it is ready to go. Look at those big chunks of Italian sausage in there just swimming around. All right, so we got that ready to roll. In the pot next to it, we have made pretty much 1 box of that angel hair pasta. We're gonna combine that with the sauce. We're gonna put it into a baking dish. We'll show you all of that stuff here. Pop it into the oven for about a ½ hour, and then at that time, Lord have mercy. All right, folks, we have made our fire pasta sauce. We've got our angel hair pasta ready to rock and roll. It's time to put those things together. We're gonna top it with some cheese. I got 3 different kinds of cheeses. We got mozzarella, we got some parmigiana, we got some sharp cheddar. You gotta have a little bit of color proliferation on that cheese as well. And then y'all, we're gonna go just left field with it, and we're gonna put on some pepperoni slices on the top. Pepperoni on spaghetti, cooking with Ruf. I said it, and I'm gonna do it. We're gonna put some pepperoni on the top of that spaghetti. So we're gonna go ahead and add all of this sauce, which is basically 1 jar of sauce and 1 box of the pasta. We're gonna add that to the pasta, and we're gonna mix that up. Let's get rid of this pot here. And then we're gonna come in here over the top, and we're gonna mix that pasta sauce into that vermicelli. Look at that, yeah, look at all that Italian sausage in there, man. Again, you want it to be wet, and you want it to be an abundance of sauce. And we've got that right here. So then we're gonna take that, after we've mixed that together, and we're gonna pour that into a large baking pan. This might be too much for this pan, we're gonna find out. Oh yeah, look at that, y'all. Look at that. All of that into that large baking pan. So you got all your meat and your sauce mixed in evenly with your pasta. Kind of spread it around, create like an even layer. Make sure you get all of that out of there, all that goodness out of the pot. And then we're gonna come top this with some cheese, or as even as it can get with these ingredients of this food. Get this pot out of the way here, and then we're gonna come back and top it. We're gonna hit it mostly with the mozzarella. Make sure we get mozzarella across the whole thing. Try to keep it in the pan if you can. Spin it a bit. That's telling me that the oven is ready to go. She's ready to receive this fire. We'll come back on. Most people like Parmesan cheese on their spaghetti. So we're gonna hit it with some of this Parmigiana. Just kind of fill in those spots where the mozzarella may be a little light, and we're gonna also come back and hit it with some of that sharp cheddar as well. This will help again with the giving it just some color variation. A little color proliferation from a word of the week standpoint. All right, and then we're gonna come back across the top, and we'll just evenly, or you can put as much or as little as you want, put some pepperoni slices across the top. And when I say fire, I'm not talking about the fact that there's an actual fire in the oven. I'm just talking fire in the sense of emoji fire. It's gonna be that fire baked spaghetti. All right, y'all, we got our pepperoni placed on top. We got everything ready to go. We got our cheese topping. We're gonna turn around and pop this bad boy into the oven, which is already set to 350 degrees. We're gonna pop it in here for 30 minutes. And then we'll come back and see what that thing looking like. All right, folks, that fire baked spaghetti is ready to come out of the oven. We're gonna turn and we're gonna sit that bad boy right here on the island. All right, folks, welcome back to today's episode of the Cooking with Ruf show on YouTube, where we showed you how to make that fire spaghetti, and where you can start with something like this and then turn it into this fire oven baked spaghetti. So we let this cool off, just so you all are aware. Obviously it's very hot when it comes out of the oven. We let it cool off for about 10 minutes or so, but you want to be careful because you can kind of burn yourself here. So I'm just going to taste a little bit. I'm not ready to eat this thing yet. Y'all, look at that, man. Hey, look at that. How can you go wrong with that? So we're going to blow on it a little bit because that's still very hot. Make sure we cool this thing off before Cooking with Ruf has an incident on the show. Nobody wants that. Let's give this thing a try, y'all. Yo, I think it was still too hot. Cooking with Ruf was up here about to pass out, but we weathered the storm. Y'all, I had a big chunk of Italian sausage in there. Very good food, y'all. We turned that jar of pasta sauce into this fire oven baked spaghetti, and we showed you how to get it all done today on Cooking with Ruf.